Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Lamdre. Homage to Master Sakya Dzongkhong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Tukten Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of Homa today, Golden Mother of the Primordial Jetpang. Soon, Tansan Katso, Tutan City, the masters, the educators, the teachers, the lecturers, the assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the internet. Good afternoon. How do you do? Aisteru Saranghe. Hola amigo, te quiero mucho. Sugoi ichiba kimochi ii. Chumi yappy. Ding ding ding. Konnichiwa. Today we perform Golden Mother and the latest book also out, which is the most efficacious God, and you have read it. That Golden Mother is truly great. We hope that Golden Mother can eradicate this pandemic. The pandemic be eradicated by Golden Mother's power. Of course, she has no problem to eradicate the pandemic. The virus on this earth can disappear from this earth so that we can live the days like in the past. We don't have to cover our faces all the time. Like the New Year, Chinese New Year is it's around the corner. Whether we should gather together, have a banquet together on New Year's Eve, it's still we're still going back and forth. 14, 40, Sunny, Lu Jun, Lu Hong. They are still considering, they're hesitating if they should come to Grandmaster and Simu's house for dinner, because they are hesitating and keep wavering because they think that Grandmaster still gives spiritual consultation every day from Monday to Saturday and come into contact with also other people, so there's always a chance for infection. And if after having a New Year's Eve's dinner everybody get infected, that would be a major problem. And Simu talks to many people, taking care of things, and she's in contact with many people. If Ho Ching is in her office and Simu comes in wanting to talk to her, and as Simu is stepping forward, Ho Ching would be stepping backward. So it's even difficult to have a dialogue. And we don't want to force it. So it's up to them if they want to or not to come home to mom's and dad's home to have a New Year's Eve dinner. It's still a problem, a question. That's the situation now. We cannot live our normal life. And the days of the past is gone now. And people don't come from ceremonies. So we just live our own, we perform our own ceremony, and then we enjoy it ourselves. That's also non-existent now. Do we go back to Taiwan? I often say that the person is in America, but my heart is in Taiwan. But if the person is in Taiwan, the heart is in America. And we have asked the Taiwan temple too. And they're even more strict there, that everyone that attends the ceremony has to be registered. And there's a rule about the number of attendees and the distance, social distancing. They're getting stricter and stricter. Only people with Taiwanese passport can enter Taiwan, and not any others, any other passports. And anybody that got to Taiwan has to be isolated for 21 days. The last week would be for self-management, 14 days isolation. And one person live in one house. The most strict of all of America is our Seattle temple. Other places don't control you. It's up to yourself, right? If you come in through LA, you're not required to isolate for 14 days, right? You're just self-awareness. So if you get it, then you should isolate yourself. But in Taiwan, it's required, not in America. Even the state of Washington, There is no special requirement that you have to stay at the like quarantine hotels. Do we have any here in Seattle? No. No, you just go home and take care of yourself. Only the Seattle Lamdre Temple is the most strict, and also Rainbow Temple is the most strict, that anyone visiting has to go isolate themselves for 14 days and pay for their own hotel rooms. So of all America, the strictest place is the Seattle Lamdre Temple and Rainbow Temple. Right? Do you think so? That's for the sake of everybody. So it's not so easy to live this kind of life. So Gordon, please find a way to resolve this sooner. So let all the virus game over. Please. Otherwise, this kind of days are hard to live by. So if they come for the New Year's dinner and then they cough a couple of times and they would blame it on us, that would be very upsetting. Now, next Sunday, February 14th, Sunday at 3 p.m. there would be Longevity Buddha Homa fire offering ceremony. And what day is February 14th? Valentine's Day. Oh, that's good. That's a ceremony, right? Then ceremony, be it. So on Valentine's Day, would give everybody empowerment as a good wish to live as longer than the turtle, to live a long life. I welcome all of you that on Valentine's Day, everybody will receive the empowerment for longevity and everyone would be healthy and live a long life. I welcome all of you to register for primary supplicant. That would be the best gift for Valentine's Day, health and longevity. As Buddhists, we place greater importance on spiritual things, and material things are dirty. They are yuck. So we value spiritual things, but not material things which are yuck and dirty, but spiritual things like health and longevity. So welcome you to come and join, so that I hope everyone is healthy and live a long life, and that would be the best gift. So this year's Valentine's Day, I can be spared from giving any gifts, because this is the best kind of spiritual gift, the empowerment for health and longevity. Do you want it or not? Let me tell a joke to start. The older you get, the worse the memory is. That's how it is. The older you get, the worse the memory is. And doctor asked me, what kind of sickness do you get? And said, gradual amnesia, or gradual memory loss. And the doctor asked, what are your real symptoms? And I replied, when I see a beautiful girl, then I would forget that I'm already married. And then the doctor said, get out of here. I haven't even been able to cure my own illness of this. In reality, it's not that. This kind of things memory is decreasing. Sometimes I want to go home and you don't recognize your own house, so you go to somebody else's house. So now we will do question and answer. From Taiwan, Lianpo. The character for the Chinese. From Taiwan. Grandmaster, in the past, when I practiced the 9 cycle Buddha breathing at the 3rd, 6th, and 9th cycles, I will hold the breath like the treasure vase energy yoga. Especially on the 9th cycle, I would inhale again without exhalation for 3 to 4 times. Now, anytime in daily activities, anytime I place the tip of my tongue on the upper palate, push in my belly, lift up my anus, and breathe slowly, finely, and elongated, all the skin pores will open like having goosebumps. The whole body is like that. So, Grandmaster, what is this phenomenon? Any error in my practice? His question: in the past, when he practiced the 9 cycle Buddha breathing, on the 3rd, 6th, and 9th cycle, he would hold his breath like the treasure vase energy yoga. And on the 9th cycle, he would hold his breath and then inhale again without exhalation 3 to 4 times. Now, anytime he places the tip of the tongue on the upper palate, push in his belly, lift up his anus and breathe slowly, finely, and elongated, all the skin pores will open like having goosebumps. The question is, what is this? You're asking me? Then who should I ask? Because Grandmaster doesn't do it that way. 9 cycle Buddha breathing does not include holding the breath. You don't hold the breath. Nine cycle Buddha breathing. So 9 cycles, in, out, in, out. It is alternating left and right nostrils, both nostrils. And then right, left, both, left, right. But you added on the 3rd, 6th, and 9th cycle to hold your breath. But 9 cycle Buddha breathing does not include holding the breath. And then on the 9th cycle, you hold the breath, inhale again, without exhalation for 3 to 4 times. I didn't teach you this, and I don't do this myself. I follow the rules. So I don't have such experience, but you do. Any error in my practice? The skin pores all over the body open. This phenomenon should not be at fault. But having goosebumps is not so severe. In my personal view, sometimes when I meditate by myself and Simu came in through the side door without any sound, and then she floated right in front of my eyes. I was in my own room and she didn't make any sound and she floated right in front of me. Then I would have goosebumps. I would be anxious, like, what, a ghost in broad daylight? She just floated and without any sound. And at first I thought it was a ghost from somewhere. So then I would have goosebumps too. But so soon as you're anxious, then you have goosebumps, and then immediately you relax and it's fine, you know. I knew that it was sin. So I do have the experience of having goosebumps, that when I am nervous, then the skin pores open. That's okay. When I get tense, that shouldn't be a very major problem. Anybody does 9 cycle Buddha breathing this way? No. So that's all I could tell you. You are asking me then whom should I be asking? Because nobody is doing it this way, only you. Why is your Dharma name Dien Po and Po, which means like Cyprus? You're a troublemaker. Just if you do nine cycle Buddha breathing, just do nine cycle Buddha breathing. Why do you want to hold your breath? You're just being superfluous. So ask yourself. I will not give an answer because we don't know. Nobody knows. The second question from Malaysia. Let me ask Golden Mother. Is there any error in his practice? Would that be a major effect? Golden Mother replied, there was no major effect, but there is not considered major faults either. It's no big deal. But in our spiritual cultivation, it's best if we just follow the rules. No big deal. Question from Malaysia by Lian Hua Aisen. Once I heard that Mariji followers should not eat pork. Grandmaster, is it true? Mariji followers should not eat pork. In front of Mariji, there are 7 boars or pigs carrying golden pigs or boars carrying Mariji, but we don't eat golden pigs. We don't eat golden pigs. They are gold. They are made of gold. Golden pigs. You know, we can't afford it. If we can afford it, maybe we would eat it. Because most pigs don't carry a chariot or a cart. But Mariji, let's ask. Mariji is a Tribhuvan school protector on contract, under contract. So Mariji, are we allowed to eat pork, Mariji? Mariji replied, huh? Oh, we don't eat imported pork?
Yeah, in Taiwan, African too. 湾那个来猪就是 import 猪，就是那个非洲猪，就是有 virus 啊。台湾的来猪 import 的。
Do we eat imported porks? In America? Like contaminated pork?
Yeah.
We don't eat any. We don't have such restriction like Doji Pamo. One of her heads is the head of a sow or a pig. So we don't have such taboo. So Mariji is a troubadour school protector that's under contract. Of course, we don't eat the gold pigs. We just don't eat contaminated pork. Otherwise, we would eat any other pork or Palian pork. Asked by Lianhua Zhenzong from Taiwan. In practicing the Vajrahat Bodhisattva practice as part of the 4 preliminary practices, if time is short, can we chant the short version of the 100 syllable mantra instead of the long version? So the full version becomes the short version. In practicing the Vajrahat Bodhisattva practice, if time is tight, can we chant the short version instead of the long version? I said this, that for mantras, whether they are the long version, the short version, or the heart mantra, or the special extraordinary mantra, generate the same merit. If you have enough time, then we chant the long version. If time is not enough, you chant the short version or the heart mantra. I had said that before. If time is really short and you don't have time to chant the long version for 21 times, then you chant the short one, it's okay. Or even the shortest one. Om Pecha Sato Hum. That's it. So only 6 syllables. Om Pecha Sato Hum. Or slightly longer. Om Pecha Sato Ahum Pe. Slightly longer. Om Pecha Sato Hum. So 4 rhymes. So that's fine if your time is really short. But if you have more time, then you can chant longer ones. This mantra is very good. For Tantrika, in the Vajraheart Bodhisattva practice, 100 syllable mantra is the most important mantra in Tantrayana. For all tantric practitioners, they have to complete the recitation of 100 syllable mantra. It is the most important mantra in Tantrayana. The second question, if suddenly there is no time to practice, can I directly go to chant Vajrasattva's 100 syllable mantra 3 times to amend the missing beginning, main, and ending parts of the practice? And can it be considered as one set of practice? What? That's too much. That's too much. That's over. I said it before. One set of practice includes the beginning part, main part, and ending part. The beginning part belongs to the preliminary practice. The main part is forming the mudra, visualization, and chanting mantra and enter samadhi. That's the main part. And the ending part is great prostration, exiting from the altar, praise and verses. They are mostly in the ending part, merit dedication. And for you, you just chant 100 syllable mantra 3 times, and then you skip the beginning, main, and ending parts of the practice. And you call that a practice, a Dharma practice? That's not a sitting of a Dharma practice. Can it be considered as one set of practice? You're too lazy. You're too much. No way. If you're on an airplane and you can just do the main part, that's okay. Because the location is different. You're not in front of your altar. You're not in front of the altar. You're on the airplane and you can skip the beginning part because you have to do great prostration, and then you do it on the aisle seat. That's not so good. You just form the mudra, visualize, chant mantra, and enter samadhi. And meditate. It's okay to just do the main part because you're on an airplane or when you're in a car and you want to do a set of practice, then you can just do the main part in the car. But you just chant the Vajrasattva 100 syllable mantra 3 times, and to skip the beginning part, main part, and ending part, that's not allowed. Third question. Grandmaster, in your book number 148, The Power of Mantra, on the chapter Ushnisha Vijaya Mantra, you wrote that Ushnisha Vijaya's Dharani is Om Amilita Takavati Sokha. During your Dharma transmission at the Ushnisha Vijaya Buddha Mother ceremony, You thought that Usnisha Vijaya's Dharani is Om Brum Soha Om Amita Aila Tate Soha. My question is, can I start chanting once I receive the empowerment? Can I start chanting the mantra in the book and the mantra from the ceremony once I receive the empowerment? So, the mantras. If you have received Usnisha Vijaya Dharani empowerment, or if you have received the empowerment for Usnisha Vijaya Dharma, then you can recite these two short mantras. You can chant these two mantras. After empowerment, you can chant them. Those were questions asked by Lian Hua Zhengjun from Taiwan. The husband told the wife, "Wine will make you more beautiful." And the wife was surprised, "Really?" And the wife said, "But I don't drink." And the husband replied, "Who asked you to drink? I am the one who drinks." That's a joke. After drinking, his eyesight would be fuzzy. Even when she's not so, she would look beautiful. I remember there's a joke related to drinking. The son asked his dad, "What is drunk? What is being drunk?" And the dad took the son outside and said, it's dark, but look at the moon. If you see one moon to become 3 or 4, then you're drunk." The dad told his son, "Look at the moon. If you see the moon as 3 or 4, then you're very drunk." And the son told dad, "But there's no moon tonight." So his dad was drunk. The real goal of going to the gym to train. There are 3 choices. One is for long life. Second is for health. The third one, so that you look good when you're naked. everybody chose number 3. So going to the gym is for looking good when naked, but not for health and longevity. That's the special meaning or the main interest. So today we will expound on Lamdre. So now we talk about the first main interest or special meaning. These are all titles. The initial ground of seeing the path, general meaning, cause, verification, fruit, conclusion. Second, branch hill meaning, cause, verification, fruit, conclusion. And the 5 grounds of practicing the path, also cause, verification, fruit, conclusion. Also, there are 2 establishments of the first special meaning or main interest, the initial ground of seeing the path and the 5 grounds of the path of practicing. So now we talk about establishing the initial ground of seeing the path. These are also all titles. One is general meaning, and for the cause, there are far cause and near cause. For the far cause, empowerment and path. For the near cause, outer start of affinity and inner start of affinity. For verification, there are outer verification, inner verification, and suchness verification. And next are fruit and conclusion. Now for the cause. There are 2 causes. One is far cause and one is near cause. For far cause, there are 2, empowerment and path. And what is the empowerment? At the causal position, one receives a base empowerment from the Guru. At the position of the path, at our own 4 sittings, select one of the 3 kinds, broad, middling, or brief, base empowerments to practice. Second, for path, refers to the form or yoga of the graduated path. Its instruction is initially obtained from the Guru, and afterwards from self-cultivation of the start of affinity, one attained the initial ground. For the cause, it's very simple. You receive the first empowerment, the base empowerment, at the Guru's place. You receive the base empowerment. At the position of the path, at our own 4 sittings, select one of the 3 kinds, broad, middling, or brief base empowerments to practice. So what is broad, middling, or brief? I explained it in the past. Let's say we talk about wisdom, tantric wisdom. The Buddha's wisdom, the wisdom of the Buddha. The broad or expansive one is Maha Prajna Paramita Sutra. Because prajna is wisdom. The greatest wisdom, that's Maha Prajna Paramita Sutra. Very thick book of sutra. That's broadly explained. Middling. So get the essence. That's middling. So Diamond Sutra. So the Vajra Prajna Paramita Sutra or Diamond Sutra That's the middling sutra. And then the brief, it's the Heart Sutra. So from the Diamond Sutra, you get the quintessence, the most important few words. That's the Heart Sutra. So when I expounded the development stages of Tantrayana, that's the broad exposition. It includes everything, big and small. And then the summarize or the middling exposition. And then the brief, which is the quintessence. So that's the meaning of this three kinds, broad, middling, or brief. So you have received the empowerment and you have practice. So whether you practice the broad, middling, or the brief one, you choose one. And talking about the path, the form or yoga of the graduated path. Typically, in our spiritual cultivation, we start from the graduated paths. Its instruction is initially obtained from the Guru, taught how to practice, and afterwards, from self-cultivation of the start of affinity, one attained the initial ground. The second one is the near cause. There are two near causes, outer start of affinity and inner start of affinity. And what is outer start of affinity? The transformation body receives the four empowerments. That's the outer start of affinity. So you yourself receive four kinds of empowerments. And for the inner start of affinity, inner affinity is about the chi channels and light drops. And the outer start of affinity is you're receiving the four kinds of empowerments. And for the inner start of affinity, you see the mandala of the body and channels. So that belongs to the chi channels and light drops inside your own body. So the mandala inside the body, including chi channels and light drops. That's the inner start of affinity. For the verification, there are three kinds. Outer verification, to generate the appearance of light drops to resolve the initial channel knots in the central channel. And the inner verification, to generate the appearance of chi, 1800 breaths to merge with the central channel. And suchness verification, to generate the appearance of the mind to produce 1200 merits, etc. So verification, what is outer verification? Is to generate the appearance of light drops. Chi is intangible, but when you breathe in the qi, you can feel it. How much qi you inhale, say a foot long, then inside your body there is a foot long qi, that kind of sensation. Or you use the left and right channel and you breathe in the qi and circle around, and then you exhale it, you can feel the qi. When you generate the appearance of the qi, for the inner, that was the inner verification. Now let's talk the outer verification, is to generate the appearance of light drops, to resolve the initial channel knots in the central channel, to strengthen the bodhicitta. Outer verification, to generate the appearance of light drops, to resolve the initial channel knots in central channel, to strengthen bodhicitta. So in our central channel, there are channel knots. When you cannot go through that, those are knots. When the qi cannot flow through it, that's called a knot. Once the qi can flow inside the channel, then the knots are resolved. So strengthen the bodhicitta. So for vow bodhicitta, action bodhicitta, first you make the vow of bodhicitta and then you put into action the bodhicitta. So your bodhicitta is very strong. We can say bodhicitta or spiritual commitment is very strong. And there are signs that the channel knots are opened in the central channel. So the appearance of light drops, say in the brow point or in the inner fire. When the inner fire starts to generate, that's outer verification. When you start to feel the progress or the warmth phenomena of the inner fire, that's outer verification. For inner verification, to generate the appearance of qi, 1800 breaths to merge with central channel. Every time you breathe, with one breath, you merge with central channel for a total of 1800. This is inner verification. You would know yourself if qi has entered central channel. And third one is suchness verification, is to generate the appearance of mind. That your mind suchness verification, to generate the appearance of mind, the appearance of bodhicitta, of suchness bodhicitta. You will produce 1-200 merits, lots of merits. And the fourth, fruit, to prove the self-mastery and spontaneous activities of the transformation body. So the result or the fruition is that you would receive the self-mastery and spontaneous activities of the transformation body, which is the physical body. So you can turn your own self-nature. That's the fruition. The conclusion, this is the initial ground. That's the initial ground of the bodhisattvahood, which is the ground of joy. Now do you understand with my explanation like that? So you have the vow bodhicitta, action bodhicitta, substance bodhicitta. You generate a very strong bodhicitta, and you yourself are able to know about your chi to enter central channel. How many times? You need 1800 breaths. And in the verification, you would feel the light drops, the red light drops appearing, and you would feel warmth in your body. That's the appearance of light drops. And your central channel can be open. That's resolving the channel knots in the central channel, the first knot. So you would experience such sensation. And lastly, it would prove that your own body can go with the flow at your own will, that your chi channels and light drops can be under your own self-control. And lastly, what you attain is the initial ground of joy. In the past, I believe in one song that 3 parts you rely on your destiny and 7 parts on on your hard work. So I work really hard. Until today, I still failed. And then there was a fortune teller that told me, because there are still 90 points that rely on your birth. So human being rely 3 points on faith, 7 points on hard work, and then 90 points on your birth. If you have poor destiny, that you're born in Africa, and doesn't matter how hard you work, you're still very skinny. There are many who are hungry, no clean water, no food. In some of the photos, there are some poor countries that don't have enough food for the people. So where would be a good place to be born? If you're being reborn in the human world, that's also pretty bad, but not so bad. That's birth by wounds. And in the animals, like mammals, if you're born in the animal realm, that's also quite tragic. It's best to be born in the human world. We have 5 continents. Which continent is better? So in your faith, which one has better affinity with you, you would be born there. It's important. but not just the continent. If you're being born in a poor family, then really 3 point you're listening to the heaven, and 7 point working hard. Still you don't accomplish anything. But if you're born into a rich family, that your dad is world-class rich man, then that would be different. So that's why 90 points you're relying on your birth. But being your birth is not necessarily be determined by yourself. It's still due to the cause and effect. Today we went to the grocery to buy fish, and I point to a lively fish and ask, how much is this one? 180. And next to it there's another fish that's belly up. How much is that one? 180 bucks. But this fish looks dead. It doesn't move anymore. And the boss said, no, it's not dead. It's just too lazy because it's so cold. Didn't want to get up. It's this jerk that every day he does sit up. And then he said, oh, I lie down at night, and then in the morning when I get up, I sit up. So sure enough, yeah, he does that every day. That's not related to health at all. Everybody does it. In class, the teacher asked the students, if you think you're the laziest, please raise your hand. "29 students in class all raised their hands except one. So the teacher asked that student, why didn't you raise your hand? And he replied, I'm too lazy to raise my hand. So Xiaoming is still the laziest then. So as a Buddhist, we cannot be too lazy. And Grandmaster is very diligent. Is an exemplar for diligence, no matter what. Being lazy, you will not have any success. Being lazy, you will not have any attainments in your spiritual cultivation. Let me give you an example. Every day I write a book. Now I have completed book number 283. Now I am getting ready to write book number 284. Book number 283. The scripts have been transmitted to Dharma sister Jennifer too, at the DB Prachna website. And the title is Thousands of Dharma Ships, and the new book, 284, the sound of the hearts of a sage in his 70s. Grandmaster has written books for 50 years. 50 years, perhaps even more. So now I'm writing my book number 284th. Every day an article, only for very special occasion. In the past, even when I go places to spread the Buddha Dharma, I still carry and write it every day. That's why I'm able to write 284 books. Is there any other true Buddha disciple that has written 284 books? True Buddha Prachna website publisher only published books from this one author. 284 books. Think about it. How did I grind myself? Every day I sit on my desk and grind. The same with my Dharma practices. Every day I just grind like this. The same thing with my chanting of Hiking Kuan Yin Sutra. Every single day I chanted. I chanted every day. That's why in order for you to have verification or to have signs of your spiritual cultivation, you have to learn from me for this. If you're not diligent, but you're just boasting that you've gone to heavens or the earth or wherever, that's just bulls. You cannot blow on the bulls. You need to have real things. And where do they come from? Do you have such diligence like grandmasters? Such steadfastness and assiduousness? One character at a time, I grind myself. That's how I write my books. So, Hiking Kuan Yin Sutra, it's not that, okay, I just chant 1,000 times and then that's it. No, Grandmaster continues to chant every single day until I die, until I cannot chant anymore. The same with writing books. I would write until the day I cannot write anymore, or in doing my Dharma practice too. I practice until I cannot practice anymore, until there's light inside my heart, inside my mind. If you have light inside your heart, then you're determined to be reborn in the Pure Land. But if you don't see any lights when you close your eyes, where does light come from? It's only from your inner practices. The lights of inner fire, the lights of the light drops, and the light of the inner fire and light drops merging together. That kind of clear light radiance can be generated only that way. The light of the light drops, the light of the inner fire, and the light of the light drops and inner fires merging in the central channel to generate the clear light radiance. Only when you generate inner light, then you will have some assurance. So I really wish that everybody would have light inside their hearts.